Hello and welcome to another edition of the Network Marketing Show. And today I'm joined by Chris Bown. Come say hello, Chris.
Hello.
How you doing? All right.
Yeah, very well, thanks.
This is you're in with us today in a drizzly Cardiff in the hills there in the Brecon Beacons, are you?
Sorry, the what?
You in the Brecons? Are you up there? Or?
No, I'm down in Cardiff. Yep.
Yeah, Cardiff. Okay, so good stuff. And Sarah, are you with us today?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Now I've sort of assumed control because you've got some issues with your internet there, but we're going to just press on. So I've known
Today it doesn't want me to talk apparently.
No, it's all right. No, I'm actually from Budapest today, and I'm not on my usual equipment, so I could drop out and disappear any time as well. So this might be a little bit of a bumpy ride today. So I've known you, Chris, for it's probably more years than we care to remember. Probably 8 years or so now, I would have thought.
Probably at least, yeah.
And I met you when you were living in Beaconsfield, and you moved off and out of the way, and you were involved in copywriting when I first met you, and that was your trade as a journalist, doing some stuff for hotels and that. Do you still do that?
Yeah, I still do that, yeah.
Okay, great. Well, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about network marketing. That's what people have tuned in for. But nice as it is, hotels and all that stuff. But Sarah and I have been covering for many weeks now what the network marketing industry is and what it isn't. And I'm kind of not really involved in network marketing myself, so I'm kind of the guy that asks the awkward questions. But Sarah, rather than me rabbit on, if you're there, why don't you fire away? Chris is a utility warehouse distributor, and I'm sure you've got some questions for him there.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Chris. So lovely to meet you. Sorry about these small internet issues I've been having on the run up to this interview. It's been a bit weird. I don't know why, but hey ho, we're here. So tell me a little bit more, Chris, about like your journey and how it started with Utility Warehouse.
Well, I was introduced to the business a good few years back. It was the first time anyone had really sort of showed me how network marketing worked. And at the time, I was just coming to realise that my fantastic pension plan that one of my early employers had persuaded me to open with a company called Equitable Life was worth about as much as dust. And so I really liked the idea of joining a business that could create effectively a new pension for me to replace the one I thought I had been saving for. So the thing that really appealed to me was the idea of building up a business with a residual income.
So I'll just dip in here. So that was So what attracted you to specifically Utility Warehouse? I mean, when was this? When did you?
It was quite early days, and in fact, the company then hadn't put the Utility Warehouse brand together. It was actually just a company that called, it was still running under what its listed name on the stock market, which is Telecom Plus, and it was just doing cheaper phone calls. This was in the days when everyone still had to buy their line from BT. But here was a company that was helping to kind of reduce people's phone bills by routing calls by different ways, and so that's when I got involved. But as I say, I just saw it as a good vehicle to build up that residual income.
So when you first got involved, you had they were doing telephone calls, but Utility Warehouse, was it not? Cheaper gas, electric. Is that where they started, or?
No, they started doing just cheaper telephone calls.
Really?
Yeah. And so in those days, the telecoms industry was regulated to the point where BT was the only person you could pay for your line rental, pretty much. And then along the way, telecoms got deregulated, and they were able to take over line rental and then broadband, and then they added on the energy side of things as well, and the mobiles along the way. So it's been, well, don't want to overuse the word, but it's been a journey for them, because they've grown from just sort of quite a limited offer to a much broader offer over the years.
So you must have, when you joined them, it was a fairly limited offering, but obviously enough to get themselves established. You must be pretty pleased with how they've expanded, because your portfolio of options now is quite extensive, isn't it?
Yeah, that has been nice. It started as a very small company. It's just consistently grown year on year on year. I think it's pretty much every year made a half decent profit. It started out right at the beginning, a little bit before I got involved. It started out in a little pub, a converted pub in Henley on Thames. And now it's on the FTSE 250, so it's a UK stock market listed company, and it's got a stonking great office in North London, where everything runs from. So it's been really interesting to see it grow, see the portfolio expand. But all this is within industries that are still, although they've been to an extent deregulated, there are still quite a lot of rules and regulations around operating in them.
Mm.
So how have you found it? Because I know when I first met you, what attracted me to what you were doing was you didn't really tell anybody, to be fair. Most people had to prize it out of you what you were doing, because you didn't really, you just didn't share it unless you kind of discovered there was an opportunity in the first place, which I really liked. Actually, I thought that was what it should be about.
Well, I think this is the thing that I've learned over the years, is that one of the reasons that network marketing might have a bad rap in some people's minds is because they might have been subjected to that rather overexcited sales pitch from someone who's probably relatively new to the business and not very successful at it, and is sort of really trying to build momentum, which is common to all network marketing businesses. People get in, they're really excited, they really want to get going, but that's the moment when actually their kind of skill levels are pretty low, and if you get bowled over at a networking event by someone who's just joined a network marketing business and their enthusiasm's up there and their skill levels right down there, you could end up in trouble. So I very much adopt the view that people buy from people, and that sort of that applies across the piece. That's not just a network marketing thing, and therefore why go around the place just shouting at people about what you do and hoping one or two of them will kind of take an interest? It's actually much better to build a relationship and then let people know what you're doing afterwards. And is it selling, or do you turn it on your head? Is it helping people who express an interest in something you've got to offer?
Yeah. So welcome back, Sarah.
I'm back.
Don't know what happens to the best of us. So I was just quizzing Chris a little bit there on what utility warehouse was when he first started, which was essentially just telephones, which was pretty much the only option other than BT in the early days, and then they kind of gradually over the years added a fairly extensive portfolio to the range, and which companies very often expand the territories and they bring out the odd new product here and there, but utility warehouse has kind of taken whole new industries under its wing, which is but it's not expanding out for that, Chris.
Sorry, I just missed you. Repeat that.
Are there any plans for expanding outside of the UK?
Not that I'm aware of. I think well, certainly what they've said publicly is that they've got 500,000 customers in the UK, and that's barely 1% of the market. So let's go to 5% before we worry about looking elsewhere. There's still a long way to go in terms of gaining a decent market share in the UK. So, and of course, the other issue is, other countries have different regulatory environments. Whether or not we're in the EU or not.
How long has Utility Warehouse been trading for, Chris?
I think it's probably about 15 years.
Okay, wow. I like that though. I like the fact that they're making sure that they're really solid and stable in a country before even looking at other ones, because I think that's where some network marketing companies go wrong as well, as they try and do this whole global expansion thing in one big hit, and it's not easy to do. You need to know the different markets, but also what's the point when it's not even big enough in one country to move into other ones?
Yeah, I mean, I've come across one or two other companies who've tried to come into the telecoms sector in the UK in the past using the network marketing model, and they've come typically from the US, and quite quickly they discover that it's a different environment, and they weren't quite ready for that. So I think there's plenty of sense in just sticking with one market until you're at a decent level.
Yeah. And had you looked into network marketing at all before you were introduced to Utility Warehouse?
No, that was my first experience.
Okay, fab.
Yeah, and
what have you found, Chris, in terms of? I know you've got a pretty laid-back attitude to this. When you've brought somebody into your team, do they adopt your laid-back style?
Yeah, some of them tend to. Yes.
Or do they go on the training and get very excited by other people and what they're doing and charge off and make all the mistakes you kind of try to help them avoid?
Well, I think over the years the UW backup and training has improved so that hopefully there's less and less opportunity to make the mistakes that everyone else has made before and learn from. And I think if someone joins your team, then yes, you're a guiding influence, but also they've got plenty of other influences from elsewhere within the company to kind of allow them to choose the way they want to proceed. I mean, like any network marketing business, you can go fast or you can go slow, and the pay is accordingly. So. Yes, I've got some laid-back people like me, but I wouldn't be. I'm not upset if someone comes in and says, "Right, I really want to go for this." I want to build something up really fast. So that's fine for them too.
I guess it's about listening to what people want, isn't it, and what their needs are, and that's the whole point in what I believe network marketing is about helping people get what they want, not necessarily what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see, if I set my mindset on wanting to replace that broken pension, so that helped define the rate and which I got involved, the route I took, and kind of the initial target I set myself in terms of what I wanted to do with the business. And I actually still enjoyed the copywriting and the journalism, so I didn't actually want to quit that. So I hadn't got a job I really hated and wanted to get out of and needed to replace.
Yeah, amazing. And that's the beautiful thing. If you've got something you love doing, it's not like you have to give it up to do network marketing. You can do the both, and like you said, build up this as your kind of nest egg for the future, and then have the retirement that you want as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is there anything about the industry that you don't like, Chris?
What about the network marketing industry? Well, I think part of the reason why Chris said I appeared so laid back and almost like a secret agent was I think I had concerns about the image of the industry, but I think actually that now that has very much changed for the better over the last few years. But I think that was a big negative. But I think the people whose dads had a garage full of water coolers or something, they're kind of they're getting on a bit now, and there's new generations who come through who are less wedded to the old stories of the old days. And I think also the other issue is a lot more of the companies involved in the network marketing sector are much more professional about how they conduct themselves.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think people are becoming a lot more educated on the industry, which is helping massively.
Yeah.
And I think network marketing as a model is changing and progressing. It's a bit like anything, isn't it? Franchising, probably when that first started out, it wasn't the industry that it is now. So things just get refined every year, don't they?
Absolutely. And I think the other thing that's changed is if you go back a decade, there was much more of an expectation from people that they would get a full-time job. If they were looking for one, they would get one. 0 hours contracts were unheard of a decade ago, but now everyone knows what they are. So I think the workplace and the world of quote proper employment has changed, so that there are less and less full-time jobs, and at a level that people actually want. And actually, there are no jobs for life anymore. The myth, or perhaps what our parents might have enjoyed or grandparents might have enjoyed, that no longer exists. So there's all those kind of changes in the employment market, which make people a little bit more open to looking at those routes to earning money and earning a living and having their life, which were considered really kind of left field, and they're becoming more mainstream now.
Yeah. And do you feel like if you'd been introduced to the industry by a different company, you would have been in with kind of regardless of the company, or do you feel like it was utility warehouse in particular that fitted for you?
That was the one that fitted for me. I have looked at plenty of others. I've been offered plenty of others over the years. I have had a really close look at a couple of health and wellness ones. Very close look. But I think, that UW was one I started with. It suits me very well. They've delivered for me, and I've never felt the need or desire to try another one instead. My feeling is that if the health and wellness and beauty ones float your boat, great, you'll feel excited and you can really run with them. But none of those have really just hit my hot button. And UW is quite different as a business. You can't really get that excited about telecoms. So you get excited about what the business can do for you and the benefits, the help they give to customers. That's fine, but it's never going to solve a big health issue you've got. But it's worked very well for me, and they've looked after me over the years as well. So I've stayed exactly where I am. Never been bitten by that bug for swapping wholesale to another business.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing as well. I think that the problem is people are too quick to jump ship when things aren't necessarily going just as they planned. And I believe that, personally, in my opinion, doing one network marketing company is enough. I think if you try and do two, it's like having a split personality. If you're trying to recruit people I don't really like the word recruit, but build a team in one company, and then you're like, oh, but actually I've got this other one. It's a bit, for my integrity, I don't feel like it sits well. I think when you find a company that fits for you, stick with it, keep going with it, because it will eventually work as long as you keep working it.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think the other thing is that it's really easy to think that another network marketing business will be easier. But actually, they all follow a similar setup. So they are all really hard at the beginning, but not very great returns. And so that's the way the concept works. So why swap? Why would you think suddenly that working in another network marketing business, starting from scratch in another one with a different set of products or services, will somehow be easier or get you to your target quicker? Don't know.
Yeah, it's like you've already done a bit of the hard work, and then you've kind of stopped all the hard work to start all over from scratch again.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
I think an interesting point, just about in there, very briefly, is that I believe that you're absolutely right, Chris, that the job market is kind of coming to an end. We won't probably see it in the next 10 to 15 years, but it's coming to an end for reasons other than people just don't want a job anymore. It's coming to an end because automation is reducing the number of jobs that are available. And if you spoke to a couple of horses around the 1900, they'd have probably said, "Oh, I quite like this automation. We don't have to go to war anymore. We don't have to, do all this dragging things across the fields to plough the fields. They've got these machines. We could just sort of cruise around the city carrying a few people on a carriage. That seems like a really good life." And then now there's not one job that a horse is actually capable of doing that pays for its upkeep. So if you replace horses with humans, we're going in the same direction. Right? And it's not up for question, it's a fact. We will be replaced by robots that can do the job better than us. And they don't have to do it perfectly, they just have to do it better than humans. And they can, they don't go sick, and they work 24/7, and they don't go on holiday, and they don't, they're not go get drunk at night, and there's all this stuff. So jobs per se are going to be less, but jobs involved in when we create our own enterprise, where we use our time to do things that we want to do, we can create all sorts of opportunities. And I think this type of multiple revenue stream is going to be the answer. And where I was going with this was that it might be that somebody does telecoms and stuff like that, and that's one vehicle, but actually an industry which is nothing like it but is complementary could be health and wellness. It could be something which is not aligned to utilities. It's not a competing industry or sector. And consequently, if you're talking to someone, it's not a case of, "Oh, you don't like utilities? Oh, try this." It's a case of having the conversation with them and seeing which one appeals to them. And they might ever only know that you do one, but you could do two or three. But it's not your choice. It's just, it's just multiple revenue streams.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely believe in multiple income streams. I think that's a very smart thing to do. I'm just not sure whether having multiple income streams in the network marketing industry is the best idea. I think have another income stream in a different industry, but not necessarily two in the same industry, if that makes sense. That's my personal opinion. But
it's pretty easy for people to think of is if you've got culturally, I think it's easier for people to think more comfortably of you if you have a network marketing business and you have a separate business in a different structure.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Yeah, I was just throwing it out there that I don't think that if you're talking to somebody that you're going to say, "Well, I've got," "Oh, you're not interested in that. Well, here you go. Here's something else you might be interested in instead." I think that's wrong and not right. If I'm talking to someone, like if Chris was talking to me and he was talking to me about utility stuff, I can see the potential for that market. And it's only 3% or 1% or 2% of whatever the utilities market is, and I can see that. And if I'm talking to somebody about people buying products that they're currently buying in the supermarket, and they might be able to buy them in a different way, those are two completely different things. And the fact that the organisation that's doing the products is selected network marketing as their preferred method to get to the market doesn't take it away from the fact that I might like both the products.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with that. The only thing I think where it would become complicated is when you're looking at approaching people about the business concept, because it's like you're talking about the same thing but in a different model, if that makes sense.
I think as we go through the next 15 years, there'll be all sorts of different industries offering network marketing as their model, and we won't have a limited choice. We'll have a very large choice. And
oh yeah.
So I think it will become less of an issue. I think at the moment, people are just getting used to the idea of network marketing per se. But if you said, "Well, I've got like a whole gamut of network marketing," it's like you're jack of all trades and master of none. But if you've got industries which are non-competing but are offering great products, then I don't see a problem. But
yeah, no, absolutely. I think in the direct selling part of it, absolutely, because why not? That you've got different solutions for different needs. But I just think when you're building a team of people and it's the business side you're focusing on, it's just a bit. I think it becomes a bit grey and a bit complex when you're trying to build two teams in two different organisations.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, it's the person you're talking to's responsibility to decide what they want, not our job to decide which one we're going to pitch to them or It's their job to decide, and it's our understanding of the individual as to whether, they might be loving going in people's houses fitting light bulbs. I don't know. It doesn't float my boat a huge amount, but you might really go for it. By the same token, they could spend quite a lot of time in the team, and there's people there that could use products from another company. And it's not our decision who joins a team.
No, I mean, I certainly take your view. If I go to a networking event and there's someone there from another network marketing company, say, I don't know, from Forever Living or something, I take the view not, oh, that person could steal the potential recruit from me. I take the view we are both promoting the same type of business structure. If there's someone in the room who likes the idea of network marketing, let them decide, as you were saying, let them decide which one floats their boat, because whichever one floats their boat, that'll be the one they'll be most successful in.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's about everyone in the industry supporting each other, no matter what company they're a part of. Should be completely irrelevant, in my opinion. It's about us all supporting each other. And like you said, if there's 3 different network marketing companies in the same room, that person, the other people in the room, will know what company they want to go to or what person they feel more connected with, and that's what it should be about.
Absolutely, yeah.
Question for you, Chris. How does it go down there? Because you were growing things in Beaconsfield. Obviously, that's where I met you in our old 4N days. How's life treated you since you moved down to Cardiff?
Well, I mean, what was nice was I've got a network marketing business. I can trade anywhere in the UK. So when I got down here, off I went again. So just look for some local networks to tap into, and then off I go, sort of thing. So that was nice to have that business, and ironically, in the last 2 weeks, I've had 2 people contact me to become UW customers who I've not approached about the business. I must have mentioned it to them 18 months to 3 years ago. But I've planted all those seeds. So I've had someone from deepest Essex just sign up as a customer. I've had someone from Monmouthshire just contact me today. That's best part of an hour away from here. He lives in Ross-on-Wye. And they both said, I want to become a customer, how do I sign up? So that's the amazing thing, is that you kind of left this trail, you've sown seeds wherever you've been before, and that keeps kind of yielding. And then, now I'm in Cardiff and I'm networking about the place, growing the business here. So it's been great in that respect. Although when I first arrived here, I had the bright yellow company Mini, and all the local UW people were like, oh, "Who are you? Where are you come from? Whose team are you in?" So that was kind of a quite entertaining month or two as they kind of got their head around this Englishman.
Yeah, let's hope for the EU situation it won't be just England and Wales and other countries. So, have you got any other questions for Chris, Sarah?
I don't think I have. I think we've kind of covered everything. Do you want to, just for people who may not know what utility warehouse does, I don't know if I maybe missed this when my internet was being dodged, but have you just explained a little bit more about what utility warehouse does?
So utility warehouse does phone, internet, mobile, electricity, gas for homes and small businesses across the UK.
Fab. And what makes it different from another provider?
Well, what makes it different is we put everything on a single bill. We have really simple pricing with no fixed contracts. Anyone who wants to check out whether utility warehouse is any good just needs to read the latest Which magazine reports to see the scores we get. And so the other USP which supports that is a fantastic customer service centre based in North London, and that's where all the customer service calls are answered and dealt with. And then of course, in the utility industries we operate in, no one else has that personal local representative who gives you their card, their personal mobile number, who's there to kind of help sort out any issues. I say to people, have you ever asked anyone from British Gas or BT to give you their personal mobile number so you can phone them up and see if you've got any issues? So that's kind of the package. And then we, on the back of that, the company's also developed a fantastic set of relationships with a whole wide raft of retailers, which give our customers cash back that reduces their utility bill each month. So there's a kind of combined discount club element to it as well. So there we go. That's it in a nutshell.
Amazing. And didn't they just recently did a whole lighting scheme, changing into LED light bulbs in houses?
Yeah, that's right. That's ongoing. If you become a customer and swap all your services, if you join Utility Warehouse with five services, you qualify for a free refit at your house. Two guys come around in a big van full of these, and they'll change every single light bulb in your house to an LED bulb. They get up the ladder, so you don't have to, and that again reduces your electricity bill further, probably by about an average 11% forever.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So some really great USPs there that I'm sure would appeal to many, many people. So yeah, it's fab.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming on, Chris. It's been good to catch up. It's been a while.
Yeah, well, happy to see you again, and thanks very much for the questions. Happy to answer them.
Thanks for being on, Chris. Lovely to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Okay, so that's it. That's another one, and the next show, I think we've got Forever Living Products coming on. You mentioned them earlier, Chris. So we'll have someone on to talk about what that industry is doing and what their sort of USPs are. So that'll be another interesting one. Then we've got someone on from World Ventures, and you were talking to someone today about oils.
Yeah, doTERRA, which is an essential oils company.
Fabulous. So there's an absolute wide range of different industries that are sort of picking up this technique for getting products into the market, and there's no question that people doing business with people is the future. So
yeah, definitely.
Fab. All right, we'll call it a wrap then. Let's hopefully get your technology sorted.
Oh my God, I literally was just like, what on earth is going on? It was driving me mental. I had to go and get a signal booster thing from downstairs to try and get my signal to work.
You shouldn't have such a big house.
I'm sorry, I know. I'll downsize.
All right, okay, so thanks again, Chris, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Chris.
I'll hopefully see you in Cardiff sometime. There's stuff going on down there. It'll be good to catch up at something. So, fab. All right, well, I'll close this down. So thanks, Sarah, and you'll be back in the chair next time, hopefully, and and I can slip off. And,
yes, I'll let you slip off and nibble on something.
All right, take care now, and cheers.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.